Basically, what it is emotional freedom means you will never be guilty, manipulated, tricked, feeling insecure, lacking confidence. You will be super powerful because you will not have any fear. Nobody can insult you. One time I was in a restaurant and I was with my friends and they said, "Aren't you going to say something to this guy?" I said, "What?" "He was just insulting you." I said, "He was?" I didn't even know when I'm being insulted because you can't hit me, you can't attack me. This is the power every human being wants. That's why I focus on this. Everybody wants to have the power not to be made to feel guilty, not to be pushed to do something you don't want to do, or have your moods changed by events or other people, right? So that's what we'll work on, how you're going to be confident and free, okay? The basic is nothing ever happened to you. And the reason you feel all of these things because you think it's about you. So I was an entrepreneur. I've built and owned my own over 20 different companies in different industries. Consulting, probably another 50 other companies. So I have a very wide range. And I've done business probably 15 or 20 countries. Then I became a monk. And so I've studied Zen, Sufi, Buddhism, Kabbalah, Hinduism, Gnostic, Hermetica, many different traditions. So I take the essence of all religions and traditions, and I mix that with the success I had as an entrepreneur. And by the way, I have no education. I finished the 11th grade, 16 years old, that's it. So I don't know how to do anything about physics, never mind nuclear physics, but I started a company in nuclear waste remediation. So in nuclear energy. So how did I build and own a company like that when I know nothing? Because of my personality is able to get the right people to do the right things. It's all about your personality, okay? And that is what we work on, all right? Anyway, I'll keep jumping. Now, so basically, nothing ever happened to you. So your ego, all these things you think about yourself, that's what we're getting rid of. And we get back to who you really are when you were born. Before you got all these concepts, religions, cultures, all the crap that your parents and your society put on you that made you who you are now, basically all the defects in your personality now, and our work is to get rid of that. But as you see here, you've got to do it yourself. A nice Chinese saying, the teacher opens the door, but the student must walk through. Is this not working? Yes, it is. Okay, sorry. I didn't see the recording working, and I want to make sure it works perfectly. So I can only give you the information, and I've been teaching for over 30 years, so I have a little bit of experience about what works, but you have to do the work. That's the most important you have to realize. Now, my work is like a jigsaw puzzle. I am not a professional Tony Robbins or Deepak Chopra. You know, they call him in America Deep Pockets Chopra, not Deepak Chopra, because he's made so much money from his bullshit. I am not this to get a huge flock of sheep. I'd rather a small pack of lions. I want smart, independent people who don't need more workshops. That's why I don't do this for making money, right? So each piece of the puzzle is the concepts I'll give you. Then they all come together at the end, all right? So it's not beautifully engaging and exciting and make you feel wonderful stuff, all right? So you have to follow and pay attention to each piece without being critical and saying, oh, this doesn't fit with that, because at the end it all fits together, all right? That's just my way of teaching. And always remember, an example is just an example. So I'll give examples. You don't take them all literally. Look for what it means, the principles, all right? So now, to have emotional freedom, you need to know the cause of emotional pain, which is you. All your pain is your own doing. You have and continue to feel pain, suffering, fears, all of this, it's you doing it. Nobody did it to you. That's the first principle. Accepting responsibility for everything in your life. No matter how remote your part to play was, but right now, every emotion you have is your own doing. That's just one piece of the puzzle. We'll show you how it is. And it's basically like my car. This was in New Zealand. I have the right of way. It's a T intersection. So I'm going along with the traffic. We have no traffic sign or anything. At the other intersection, it's a stop sign, so they have to wait. And it's a lot of traffic, rush hour time. And the owner of the bumper was probably very frustrated, and he couldn't wait any longer. But he was not sitting there saying, that's not David, that's not, oh, there's David, boom. It's not about me. He destroyed my car, he ruined his car, but it's not personal. But if something like that happens, normally a person, what are you doing? Why did you do this to me, right? Why are you attacking me? But it's not about you. And every attack you have ever experienced, going back to being a baby when your mommy or daddy yelled at you, or anything that happened, it was never about you. But you think it was. And that's why all your pain is your own doing, because things just happened and you thought, why are they attacking me? And because you believe it's about you, you will feel pain. By the end of today, you will walk away from here knowing it was never about you. And you'll be free of all your pain. But that's where your pain is, because you took it as if it's about you, when the reality is you are irrelevant. You are totally irrelevant. And the way, I'll give you exercises, and the one very good way to see how irrelevant you are is to walk in a cemetery and look at all the gravestones and say, did I hear of this person? Does anyone know of this person? Who was this person? Who was that person? What did they do? And you'll see eventually, you're going to end up down there and no one's going to know you because you're irrelevant. Just like all the other people who died before us. Power is in knowing you are irrelevant. Again, will make more sense. So it's never about you. Now, a typical emotional trauma that carries through life is if one of your parents you felt hated you, right? My father hated me. My mother didn't love me, blah, all these things. And we carry that. And we carry that because when you watch TV or movies, they always have daddy issue films, right? Someone's got daddy issues, this, and they show you that you must care. Your father did this, and now you feel terrible in this. Okay. When I was young, my father beat me regularly for no reason. Now, I'm not emotionally damaged because for some reason, I was born with a different kind of mind. And every hit, I could see, he's not hitting me. This guy's crazy. Something's wrong with him. He's beating somebody else. He's not beating me. I could see that. So I never got damaged. But when you get beaten as a little kid or punished or yelled at or whatever, you think you did something wrong, you're bad. So now you want to prove yourself to your parents, I'm good, right? So you spend your whole life doing things to gain their approval. Even if they're dead, you're still going to keep trying. Because you took all their anger, attacks, punishments as if it's about you. But for some reason, I saw it wasn't about me. And in later years, I did find out I was correct. It was something totally unrelated to me. But I'm the smallest thing there, so it's easy. For an Arab, it's okay. He's not an Arab, we're Jewish, but he's from Iraq. And his attitude is, you treat a child like a dog, you beat him until he learns. So that's his attitude. Why? It's his father's attitude. His father's attitude, is that, huh? So that was his attitude. But I could see it's not about me. And in later years, I took him to lunch. I said, I want to know something. You beat me, yes. You never beat Michael, my brother. Never touched him. Okay, why? He said, well, when something was wrong, you would always say so. So I had to beat you to shut you up. And all of a sudden, I realized every beating was a compliment to say, I fight for justice. And we can't have someone fighting for justice, right? So you see, every beating was a compliment, saying that you are so strong, you will be beaten, but you'll still stand up for defending something that's wrong. Right? So now we don't think about why we were beaten or put down as a child. We just took it personally. And so we get distorted. All right? So nothing ever happened to you. You were there when it happened. You were the target. Like archery, I shoot, and sometimes I shoot balloons for the fun of it. Nice to hear them pop. Does the balloon say, why are you shooting me? No. So we need to understand that. You need to really think, it didn't happen to me. I was just there, like my car. And when you realize nothing was against you personally, you start to get completely free of any of your childhood traumas, which you no longer even recall, but have affected you as an adult and are guiding the way you behave as an adult. Okay?
What if it was a literal case of being told off because you wouldn't listen to something?
Right.
So if it actually was your mistake because you didn't do what you were told to do. What about those?
Why were they telling you to do that instead of what you did? And why did you resist? You know, dominoes. The 10th domino falls because the first one fell. Why do they need you to do what they said? Why do I need my children to obey me? Right? My mother's from Bombay, from India, all right? So I have the Indian culture, I have the Iraqi culture. Then they met in London. My mother was in convent school, so I have the British culture. And then I grew up in Canada. So I'm growing up with 4 or 5 cultures. Okay. So what happens is you must obey me. Why? Because when I was a child, I had to obey my parents and I felt weak. Now that I'm a parent and I have a child, I need to feel strong. So I need you to obey me so I feel I'm in control for a change. So no matter what you did, you're going to do something wrong. Because I have to find fault with you so that I can feel I'm in control. But as a child, you feel, yeah, I did something wrong because you're at that domino. You're not at 10, 20 dominoes before, which is I now want children so I can feel powerful and in control to compensate for my insecurities when I was controlled by my parents.
So, is the objective of today to stop being the 5th domino so you don't end up being part of that cycle?
Yeah, that's part of it, yes. We're going to stop the cycle of perpetual stupidity.
Because if you don't stop it, then you just end up
You'll do the same thing.
passing it on.
Yep. It's like my mother. When I was young, my grandmother, her mother, would do something, I forget what it was, and she told me, if I ever do that, I will never be like my mother. You know? And then sure enough, as she got older, she was the same. So if you're 20 and your mother is 40, oh, I'm not like her. Now when you're 40, you will be like she was when she was 40.
It's funny you say that. I had a friend visit me 2 weeks ago. We've been friends for 20, 30 years. And we were talking about my personality because we've not met for 10 years. And she said, you are your dad's child. I remember your dad talking to your mum like you talk to Maria.
Yep. You see? And you have no idea, but you have been programmed.
That was a shock. And that's why I'm here, because I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that's the last thing that I wanted.
Yeah. You'll be exactly the same when you're the age, but you don't see it because you're 20 or so younger than your parents and you don't remember, but when you get there, you will be the same. And that's what's important to know because they are the same as their parents, This goes back 1,000 years with slight changes of style, of clothing and music. But otherwise, we're all the same. There was that old Barry Manilow song. He says, everybody is the same. It's just the name and the faces that have changed. All right? So
just to clarify that, just because for me, it's really important they understand what to be able to stop that cycle.
Yep, completely.
Great.
Yeah, yeah. You're born what I call baby no name. And then they screw you up. And you become a copy. So we've got to get back to baby no name. So you can now be who you were. Born to be. Before you were, like there's a Zen koan. You know what a Zen koan is? It's an unanswerable riddle, like what is the sound of one hand clapping? All right? And in Zen practice, we're given a koan, like who were you before your mother and father were born? And you meditate on that question. That's who we got to get back to. Now you can be you. But right now you can't be you. Right now all you can be is a carbon copy of your parents for 60, 80, 100 years, however long they lived or you'll live. Okay?
I just need to say something. When we are working right now, we are working on the conscious mind, right? When you are
Yeah.
teaching us.
Yeah.
How can we decondition?
The subconscious.
Yeah, because now we're on the conscious. The conscious Hadas, he's in the ego.
Yep.
He cannot do the work, but we need to go to the subconscious. So how we're taking these teachings to the subconscious, so the subconscious is being able to work on it and
Yep.
being able to free from it. From
Okay.
all that.
Because
Because
this...
the idea is the subconscious.
Yeah.
Decondition the subconscious.
Yeah. Subconscious works on proof, evidence. And the evidence comes from the conscious, which interprets the event.
Yes.
So we're going to give you exercises for you to prove through evidence, facts, that what your subconscious believes that your conscious thought was happening is wrong. And now through actual proof, it's like, I'll tell you, if I bend my finger like this, it'll hurt. Now I can bend and bend and bend, and you can watch me, and I can tell you, if you do this, it will hurt. And you can think, yeah, if I do that, it'll hurt. But your subconscious doesn't know. Now, when you do this, and it hurts, now you know. And that's why a baby is told, don't touch the fire, it will burn you. And the baby touches the fire. Because whatever you think is useless. You have to prove it through experience for the subconscious to understand. So the exercises will give you the way to prove the truth. Then your subconscious will change. I'm sorry?
Without having the experience.
No, you'll have the experience, the truth about yourself. The exercises will prove the truth about your totally screwed up attitude, that it is wrong, and then what is true. Yeah, I mean, it's totally pointless to talk and not be able to prove it. Then it's just more, we'll get to, information that's useless. Yeah, I hate that. I'd listen to all these beautiful sayings. Okay, I created something called Ethicalism. It's a website. Ethicalism is a collection of ethics and morals, which are in every religion, every wisdom. Everybody tells you, be this way, be that way. But it was useless because it's just a nice thought. So I created Ethicalism, which has the morals, but each one has 2 or 3 exercises for you to apply that moral so it actually becomes a part of you. Okay? So that's what my work is. I said, I hate all this rubbish talking about sweet, pretty things, which all you talk, it's useless. So I create the exercises to make it practical. Okay? So we'll go there. All right, let's keep going. This is the most important thing. Insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So if you keep doing the same things, how can you expect to change? So it means that you take workshop after workshop and you just go to workshops, but you don't do anything. It's not going to change you. That's why people have big collections of self-help books and they're still the same. All right? So this is one, yeah, a Sufi saying. A donkey with a load of books is still a donkey. So it's enough learning. You've got to do something that makes the change, all right? Let's make it play. Here is an example of you as a baby. It's happened. It's fun. This is a real thing off YouTube, right? Yeah. Now, will that kid remember this? No. But would you mind, please? But that kid will be screwed up. That kid will eat everything that he's ever served.
Yeah.
Hello. All right. Okay. Yeah, please just have a seat and we'll continue. That kid will eat everything he served.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, when that kid's a teenager and has a girlfriend, and they're happy and in love, and the girl says, you know, I love my grandmother so much, I want you to meet her. He's going to break up because he's petrified of grandmothers. Because grandmothers are crazy. He won't know why he's scared of the grandmother, but he will be scared. Let me just play that again for you. Oopsie.
Between the grandmother, what?
Well, this is a grandmother feeding him, right?
Grandmother?
Well, I think that's his grandmother.
That's his mother.
Okay, you think it's his mother? Wait.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. He'll be scared when he's invited to dinner. Just give a watch of this to see what happens to us. So, he's being programmed. And it's fun to watch a second time anyway.
Oh my God.
So he may not remember because he's young.
Yeah.
But the subconscious has literally captured that feeling
Yep.
enough for him now when
To be
he moves
scarred.
on
Yep.
to be scarred. Yeah.
I'd love to see him today if he's obese. Because he's going to eat everything he's ever served. And he'll never know why he has a fear about being fed or food or a mother preparing food. And he'll never know why unless he watches the video. And every one of us have exactly the same things. Somewhere when you were young, events happened, multiple events happened, created a fear, an association, and you now, anytime, so the way you will know how you've been affected is anytime you have a, what do you call it, an irrational fear. I'm scared of this, I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong with me, why I get nervous in this situation. That's why. Something happened when you were a kid. Okay, I've had
You'll end up doing the same thing.
yeah, well, you'll have fear of that, whatever it may be.
No, but because he's so scared,
Yeah,
is he likely to then go and implement that to his child?
that, I don't know.
Because there's a disassociation with that, right?
It's
Maybe.
maybe, but all we know for sure is he's going to be screwed up by something that happened when he was so young. Now, I was always scared of knives. I don't know why. I had an irrational fear of knives. And one day in my mid-late 20s, I was visiting my mother. She was in the kitchen cooking. And for some reason, she was taking a knife to cook. And she said, I don't know what it is, but I'm so scared of knives. And since I've been working on myself since I'm 5 years old, I went, aha! Now I know why I'm scared of knives. And from that moment on, I loved knives. I even had a knife collection because I loved the beautiful workmanship of special knives. Right? Because I saw my fear where it came from, her fear. Now the problem is I had my fear until I was exposed to the source of my fear. And that's where the problem is that you've got an irrational fear, you're trapped by it because you don't know what happened, but at least now if you know that all of your fears are due to something that happened somewhere in your past, either you remember or you don't remember. But if you don't remember, it doesn't mean it didn't happen. Okay?
Could it also be the opposite?
sure.
Be obsessed with something and you don't know why.
Anything that manipulates you in some way. Any distorted emotion. A desire for things. Could be desires, could be fears, could be inhibitions, could be anything. Whatever your inhibition or fear is, there's something that happened to you or around you that gave you that fear, that the reason it is an irrational fear is you don't remember where you got that fear. Rational fears are, I know what happened to me. I can deal with it. I was a teenager and I almost drowned. Now I'm scared of water. But I remember almost drowning. So now, okay, I've got to, psychologically, I can deal with it. But when it's a fear or an inhibition that you have no idea where it came from, it's harder to deal with. And then as an adult, you live your life with that defect, which is going to push people away, destroy projects, things will happen. And you say, oh, I have such bad luck. Why do the bad things always happen to me? But that's because you're living with some fear or problem that started at a time you don't even remember, okay? Now, you can go to 20 years of psychotherapy, hypnotherapy to try to recall it. Maybe. I believe that if I do not remember, I don't need to remember what happened. What I need to fix is the part of me that is living based on something from the past, okay? So that's what my work is. It's on the mind itself that has become distorted and broken, regardless of the reason, because there's so many reasons we may never find out. But if I can fix the part of me that's broken, all those reasons will disappear and I can go forward with a better life, okay? So that's what the work we're going to get to. All right. Now, this is very important. It's not what you don't know that gets you in trouble, but what you know for certain that is just not true, okay? So, for example, you ever get a 3-line email and you only read the first line? Or you send an email and then you get an answer? Two of my students, one boy, he owned the house and the girl was renting a room from him. And he did something nice one day for her. And while he was out, she bought a chocolate bar and a Coca-Cola, left the chocolate bar on the desk with a note, "Thank you for the sweet thing you did. Here's a little gift, and I put a Coca-Cola in the fridge for you." She had to go out. He comes home. And he says, "Oh, thanks for the chocolate. And oh, I see you have a Coke in the fridge. Do you mind if I have it?" And she's like, "I told you it's yours." So she told me, how stupid is he? And so I said, "What happened?" He said, "Well, I read thank you. And I saw the chocolate. So I thought I knew what the note said." Okay? He knew for certain, which was just not true. He was certain it was the chocolate. So he was certain the Coke was hers. But it was his. So we're doing this all the time. So first exercise. There's going to be a lot of exercises I tell you about. That's why I record this. You can listen again, or you can take notes as you wish. Take pictures of the slides, or I can send you all the slides. Yeah.
Is this another way of saying selective hearing or selective listening or selective reading?
Exactly. But why do you select? Because you're lazy. We're lazy. We don't want to hear the whole thing. I know. Now we're lazy because we're arrogant. I'm smart. I know. We're arrogant to show how smart I am because as a 2-year-old, you are taught that you don't even know when you gotta pee. You will eat now. You will sleep. Do you have kids? Okay. That's why you're smiling. Yes, I have to tell my kid when to eat, when to sleep, when to do this, when to do that. And when we're 2, we are revolting because we've come to a realization, hey, I'm a person, but I'm told everything. So from that age on, which you don't remember, you are developing a resistance to say, but I can think for myself. I need to show you I'm smart. But at 2-year-olds, you're not too smart. But now you grow up trying to show how smart you are. And when you want to show how smart you are, you will make mistakes. Because you won't read the whole email. Because you know for certain. Because I'm so smart, I can tell what's going on. I've owned all these companies for a simple reason. I know I'm stupid. I started a company nuclear energy that was so important, the President of the United States wrote an executive order to take away my company because it was too impactful in the world. Okay, so here I am, a kid with no great knowledge. I was 40 years old at the time. I built a company that was that important to the future of the planet that the president had to get involved. I'm Canadian, but that was in the US. How? Because I know I'm stupid. When I'd be in the meetings with the top nuclear physicists from the United States to come and talk to us about our technology, they thought I had a PhD in nuclear physics. Why? Because I know I'm stupid. So what happens when you know you're stupid? You don't talk, and you listen, and you pay attention, and you hear the little things that are being said, which if you know you're smart, you don't listen, you don't hear, so you miss. And when you miss those little things, you know the saying, the devil is in the details? And it's those little things that you missed because you thought you knew, which always cause the problems, which destroy whatever you're trying to build. That could be your business, your relationships, your self-esteem. Okay? So here you go. From now on, you're stupid. You don't know anything. You don't understand anything. So you pay very close attention to everything. You make sure you read very carefully every message to make sure you've understood. Okay? That's humility. Yeah.
You've literally hit something so deep for me right now.
And I'm only a half an hour into it.
Honestly, like I'm smiling here because it's making sense for me. Because I was trying to have a voice that no, I know. And in that, it's true. I miss some of the details.
Yep. Everybody does. They just don't notice. Or they justify it. Okay? All my work is based on logic. That's why my work is so good. Everything is based on logic and personal experience. I don't teach anything that's theory. Everything I talk about, I have lived through for many years. Okay? So, which means I made the same stupid mistakes. Just a couple of stories. You know the story of a professor meets the Zen master. And he goes to the Zen master and he says, I would like to learn Zen. Will you teach me? And the master says, of course, please sit down. Would you like tea? He says, yes, thank you. As the master is preparing the tea, the professor is saying, I've studied this, I have PhD in that, I studied there, and I went to Yale and to Harvard and to Oxford and blah, 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 blah. And the master starts pouring the tea and the cup fills and it's overflowing and he keeps pouring as it's overflowing. And the professor says, what kind of master are you? Can't you see the cup is full? And the master said, this is Zen. How can I put more in when the cup is so full? See, when you know that you know nothing, more can come in. But the more you try to show how smart you are, how much you know, nothing more can come in. That's why you read a little bit, but not the whole thing. But when I know that I am stupid, and if I'm not careful and open-minded, I will miss important information, then I'm more open-minded and I catch everything. And what happens when you catch everything and someone else only catches a little? You look like a genius. You look like you're so brilliant. You see? So, this is just a little joke. Is another fun story. I have notes to remember to tell you things. In a doctor's waiting room, everyone is waiting in the waiting room, and there's a young woman and an old lady sitting next to her, and they call the old lady in, your turn, and she goes with her cane all hunched over like this with her cane, walks in, and then 2 minutes later she walks out straight. The young lady looks and says, this is a miracle. This doctor, he's magic, it's a miracle. Please tell me what happened that he took you, you went in all hunched over and you came out all straight. What did the doctor do to you? She says, miracle, schmiracle. He gave me a bigger cane. So I can. The answers are so obvious sometimes. Now, why don't you see obvious answers? Because you think you know. But when you know nothing, to be a cloud, then your mind is open to see the obvious. That is how you succeed in business. That is how you prevent failures. To see what others don't see. To see what you haven't seen. Okay. Now, you don't because you have fixed opinions. Medusa is fixed opinions. You turn everything to stone, except you're turning yourself to stone. You turn your mind to stone. As soon as you have a fixed opinion about anything, you're stone. That's it, right? Closed-minded. So we should never have a fixed opinion, but we have to have opinions. We have to have beliefs. So at the beginning, I told you, anything you disagree with, tell me. I want to hear what you disagree with, because I know I'm right. But as soon as you show me where I'm wrong, I totally change my opinion. Okay? So you have your opinions, but be prepared and look for evidence to prove you are wrong, so you continually learn and improve. Okay. Now, these exercises are obvious benefits in themselves, but the real point is the mind that is turned to stone is to soften it up so you get back to baby no name, to the little baby that's curious, that doesn't know, that wants to learn because it doesn't understand. That is what we need to return to. That 4-year-old, 5-year-old that is curious about everything. That is where you don't take things personally. Okay? So all the exercises are to work on the mind, the subconscious itself. So we loosen it up so that all our fixed beliefs and defects can go away. Okay? So no more fixed opinions. Your beliefs are great. You have to function with some beliefs. But look for and be open to proof that you're totally wrong. Okay? You know, the meek shall inherit the earth, some Christian saying, right? What is meek? The arrogant people say to people who know nothing or don't know things, you're weak. I'm strong. I know so much. But that means the humble one who knows they don't know and is open to learn will eventually overtake, because the kingdom of heaven, I mean, you will know it better than I do, I suppose. I'm assuming you're Christian. Right, okay, well anyway, you know what I'm talking about, right? The weak, the humble will win in the end. You would know, Mr. Catholic or something, I don't know what you've learned, but anyway, it doesn't matter. You get the point. Okay, now, freedom is in realizing there is nothing real about you. That you were born, baby no name, before they formed you, you're a sponge, right? Everyone says kids are like a sponge, they absorb everything. So you're born a sponge and you observe the water. Now, have you ever had a sponge, you leave it on the counter, it starts to stink, smell really bad? And what do you say? The sponge stinks, right? Well, you're wrong. The sponge doesn't smell. It's the dirty water with bacteria that is smelling. And if you take that sponge and rinse it enough times under clean water, it won't smell anymore. But you think the sponge smells, but in fact, it's the dirty water the sponge has absorbed. So right now, you, who you are, who's here, who came here today, is dirty water that stinks. Not the sponge that absorbed that knowledge, opinions, personality. We have to know the difference between, am I defective, or are there things that I now believe that create these defects which are screwing up my life? So I can rinse that out and become that clean sponge again and start fresh. One of my companies was a software company. A developer had written this program and couldn't sell it, couldn't get anywhere with it. And I redesigned the user interface so that it's easy to use. And I said, no, we've got to change the user interface. And he refused. He said, it took me 6 months to build this. And if I change it, it means I've wasted 6 months of my life. So I refuse. Another 6 months pass, and he finally agreed, because we couldn't sell one copy. So instead of accepting that he had wasted 6 months, he wasted a year. Right? So basically the point is, you are, whatever age you are, however you've gone through your life, as dirty water in the sponge. And if you say, I don't want to get rid of everything, it means I've wasted my whole life. If you're not willing to let go of everything and start fresh today, you will waste the rest of your life. So you've got a choice. You can accept that up to now I've been wasting it, but now going forward I can have a good life, or I can waste the rest of it. And then you'll end up just like your parents and perpetuate the same generational stupidities. That's your choice. Remember the first slide, right? You're chopping away. It's you who has to chop away all these ridiculous things. Okay, so emotions are not real emotions. This is a very important point. You believe you have emotions. They're not emotions. It's all intellectual.
They're information, right?
Emotions? It's an emotion. But you think you're having an emotional response to things? The only true emotion is when you see a little baby or a puppy, you go, oh, so cute. That's a real emotion. But every emotion you have in interactions as an adult is not really an emotional response. It is an intellectual interpretation of an event. The event could be something happened, someone spoke to you a certain way, whatever is going on, your intellect interprets the event just like your eyes see, but your eyes doesn't know what it is. That image has gone into your brain. Your brain then analyzes what your eye sees. By the same way, everything that happens, you analyze, you identify, and then you have an emotional reaction. If you see a snake, and you've never seen a snake, you've never heard of a snake, you're 2 years old, you don't know anything about snakes, you go, oh, what's that? But now that you learned, oh, snake will bite me and kill me, now, oh my God, I'm so scared of snakes. Because you see a snake, you intellectually have analyzed what is this thing, danger, death, suffering. Now you get the emotion of fear. You see? So all your emotions are not really emotions. They are a response to an intellectual interpretation of an event.
It's true, a baby will jump into deep water.
Yeah, they don't know. But they'll do it once and then find out. Because then they've got an intellectual analysis, identification of what it is. Now I will have an emotional response, which is nature's way of protecting us. Right? Because if I'm driving and a moose or whatever runs in front of the car, if I say, oh my God, there's a big animal running in front of the car, I must avoid it. Okay, too late, you've hit it. But if the animal runs and I don't think, but the process of the machine immediately gives me fear of death and impact, I have an adrenaline rush, the chemical produced due to the emotion of fear, which makes me react so quickly, I'm safe. So the machine is designed very well. The problem is the program of how the machine functions is distorted. Okay? So we have to say, it's a good machine, it's a good design, it's just malfunctioning due to bad programming. All right? But now I'm an adult, I will learn how the machine works and I will fix the machine. And that's what the All Is Mind course. All Is Mind course is 6 sessions of 2 hours. This goes into great detail about the mind and many other factors. So we can go deeper into it. By the way, I don't like just doing one workshop here and there. My school is long-term. And there's many more levels that get deeper, deeper, deeper. So I want to build the school again. I've had it in different countries. So this is to give you the ideas. This will totally change you going forward. But if you want to go deeper, there is much deeper work to be done. Okay? So the emotion is a response to an intellect and analyzing an event, because if I react only intellectually, I will not respond quickly enough to prevent disaster. I need adrenaline rush to make my body move quicker. If I throw something to you, by the time you think, ooh, that's a rock, it's going to hit me on the head and knock me out, too late, it hit you. But instead, you're just going to go like that, block. Because intellectual adrenaline makes me do quick. That's martial arts. Martial arts is about instant response because we get the adrenaline, okay? So you have to know this is what's going on. It's all, but the problem is the design is for when humans were cave people and a man-eating lion was your next door neighbor. You had to need this response. So you survive. Now there's no more lions in Nairobi. A little bit on the outskirts, perhaps. But we are not faced with these challenges. But the machine is still the same. Right? It's just what triggers this adrenaline rush. So we have to understand the machine so that we can now gain control of it. But anyway, I'll keep talking. Otherwise, we'll never finish. Okay? So emotions are analyzed responses. Okay. Now, the human personality is totally subjective consciousness, meaning everything is your opinion. The goal is to be objective, so as it is. Buddha said the goal to enlighten, or the path to enlightenment, is to see everything as it is, not as you imagine it to be. I'm doing business, he's trying to cheat me. Oh, he's a bastard, he's a terrible person, he's trying to cheat me, he's trying to take advantage of me. That's subjective. Objective is, he's trying to make more money any way he can. It's not personal that he wants to cheat me. It's not personal that these things are happening to block me, to destroy my project. It's simply as it is. Everybody wants more. Their own personal desire for survival, greed, whatever it may be. So, water is wet. I jump in the water, I will get wet. I'm doing business with another human being. They're there to make more money. It's not personal to me. It's just they're trying to get everything they can. So if I know that, I'm not emotional. When I get emotional, I will not make the right decisions because I think I know what's going on. But when I am objective and I see this is just what it is, rules of the game, then I can remain calm and open-minded to see what he's really doing, what's going on, and then I can respond appropriately to protect my interests. Okay? That's how to succeed in life and business. To be objective. Never take it personally. Why is it always happening to me? Right? All right? So the emotions will become appropriate to the situation. It's like the baby. You turn off the lights, they scream, the monster's in the room. Turn on the lights, where's the monster? My work is to show you how the machine really works. When you understand that, it automatically changes, like the monster going away when the lights are turned on. Okay? Now, another aspect, curiosity has its own reason for existence. Why? It keeps the mind flexible and growing. Every new bit of information makes your mind grow, because the mind isn't the brain, right? Mind is knowledge, infinite capacity. As we know, I mean, any child, it's amazing. You know what's amazing about children? Is every baby that's born can learn any language in the world. Can you learn any language in the world? No, because you're now an adult and you have your fixed ways of thinking. But a baby can learn any language, right? Depends where you grow up. And a baby learns all kinds of things because they're curious. And the most important thing, you have children, you don't, no? Okay. But you've heard parents always say, my 4-year-old has amazing energy, infinite energy. Oh my God, they abound with so much energy. How do they have so much energy? It's very simple. Yeah, as you age, you lose, you don't have as much energy, natural process of aging. But the biggest difference between an adult and a baby is an adult is worried about things, is stressed about things, has our negative emotions, our worries, our fears. Babies don't have that, or little children. Little children just play. Oh, what's this? What's that? I'm not scared of losing money if I do this. I'm not scared of what's going to happen if I do this. I'm just curious. So there's no energy wasted. So that's what the problem is. Now, curiosity is always learning, interesting, without fear. Whereas when we have a fear to try something, we stop our curiosity because we're scared of trying and failing because what will people think? Right? So curiosity has its reason for existence, Mr. Einstein said, and that is so the mind grows perpetually. Now, Einstein wasn't a mathematician or a scientist. He was a spiritual man trying to find God. He used science as his method to find God. He was very spiritual in that sense. So he was able to see things others didn't see. because he kept his curiosity going. Okay? So if you want to expand, like for me, I'm inventing new businesses all the time because I'm curious about things. Somebody tells me what they're doing, and then right away I'm thinking, but you can do this and this and this. Right? So I'm inventive because I'm curious, because I have no fears, no inhibitions. All right? So that's how you will succeed. Okay? Now we're getting more to the real work. All of those things were pieces of the puzzle. Okay? Those are pieces of the puzzle. Now I'm going to break you apart to get to see what you really are. Okay, you're not really you. You think you're an English-born Indian, and and you're a Kenyan, and you're a Lebanese, and you're whatever. We all think what we are, but you're not that. When you're born, baby no name, you're made into who you are. And the way to think about this is, I use Donald Trump because everyone knows him. Now, if little Donald, when he was born, 1 day old, same hospital, same parents, but at 1 day old, they took him to India, and he was adopted by Indian parents in Bombay, and they raised him. Donald would be a total Hindu, huh? He'd be a vegetarian, he'd be an Indian, his hands would go, his head would go, he'd be same body, but he'd be totally Indian. It would not be him. Right? You are what you are, who you are, or I should say who you think you are, only due to circumstances. Baby no name. You were born no name. And you came into this totally bizarre world, which is really scary because there's all these giants around you. Think about it, right? You're this big, all these monstrous giants. This is scary. And then these two people protected you and fed you and took care of you. So you believed what they told you, and you became what they made you. But baby no name could be anybody. We've got to get back to baby no name. So that means everything about you is not you. You only imagine it's you, and you maintain it because of your devotion to those giants who took care of you and fed you when you were hungry. So why are dogs man's best friend? Why are dogs loyal? Because you feed them. Everyone says, oh, my dog loves me. My dog is so loyal. No. The dog will love anyone who feeds it. Or scratches. Oh, thank you. Dogs are not loyal to you. They're loyal to you because you feed him.
For the food.
Huh?
For the survival, for the food.
Exactly. And you're no different. Your devotion to your parents is to simply like a dog. You fed me, you took care of me, you protected me, and as you grew up, you come home, oh, Billy yelled at me and he was bullying me. And your parents, I will fix him, and blah, 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 and talk to Billy's parents to make Billy behave better. Oh, thank you. That's it. All your love and devotion to your parents. See, I have no concern about my parents. I don't care, because they never took care of me. They didn't do a damn thing for me. I've had to take care of myself since I'm 12. They didn't do anything. They beat me. They treated me like shit. They're nasty people. So I don't have devotion to them. I'm free. But you who had good parents, who took care of you, or at least you believe they did, have this devotion. Just like the little boy has fear, you have devotion. You have love. I'm not telling you not to love your parents. Don't get me wrong. But you need to know why you love them. Okay? And because of that love, you will live your life to please them. Because you owe them. And I don't know about your parents, but my parents and many parents say, I did everything for you. I gave up my life to take care of you. You owe me because I raised you and blah, 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 right? No, I didn't ask to be born. But anyway, that's another story. But you've got to get that point, is that you live your life because of your devotion to the two giants who protected you when you were little. And just like a dog, I owe them because they provide for me. And they provided for you for so long that that devotion grew so strong that you lived the rest of your life out of fear of being rejected or a need to prove and pay your debt, valid or not. Okay? So therefore, you cannot be you. You have to be what they like. You have to know what drives you to do things you don't enjoy. All right? So, good here? No questions so far? We don't need a pee break or a toilet break or a, well, that's it. Okay. Or water or something, right?
Is the bathroom here?
Here, yeah. Okay? So, but any questions up so far while we'll wait to continue? It's good? Makes sense? Yeah? But you're catching up? I mean, it's okay, you missed a bit, but...
Yeah, it's okay. Everything you're saying is relevant to, I think, for
Yeah.
me personally. Hi everyone, and I'm Sheila. Yeah, so, I mean, a few things that went through my mind as you were speaking. Like, I can remember. So the one thing that that I find a bit challenging is you're saying that we have to have malleable minds and take things objectively and as they are. You know how difficult that is.
That's why this afternoon, yeah, this afternoon is, yeah, that's it.
Things. I mean,
Yeah.
like I work with giant assholes, really huge assholes.
You mean humans?
Yeah. no, huge narcissists.
Yeah.
And it's, I think as a kind of protective mechanism, you always have to be one step ahead.
Maybe.
You always protect the point, from my experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to understand in a practical sense how being malleable and taking things as they are
Yeah.
would, have be more meaningful
Yeah.
in my environment. And I think so. I think it's in two ways. It's it's good to be malleable and take things as they are. It opens up a lot of opportunities, and you see the world in a different way. But I'm also looking at the other side where, depending on the environment that you're in and what kind of people you're interacting with or what
Okay.
factors are there, is it also important to be reading the room? Because that's
Yeah.
the room can determine. So now the question is, how do you have the distinction between the two? How do you know
Mm-hmm.
this is the time where I'm supposed to be thinking freely?
Okay. Well, that's what we'll do in the rest of the day. Yeah, we'll get all that. Okay, so let's continue, but we'll get to all that as we progress. All right? And that's why the afternoon is more the application. Okay? The morning is more of the concepts. The afternoon is the way to do everything. All right. Now, here is the main, that's why I call my website David Samuel Cloud, to be a cloud. Okay. Everybody wants to be a mountain. I'm important. I'm a doctor. I'm a lawyer. You have to respect me. I matter. And we start that when we're 2 because we're told we don't matter, right? Everything we're made to do. So everyone wants to be respected. I want to be Mount Everest. You have to look up to me. I want to be a mountain of gold. You must love me and respect me. And then we need boundaries to protect ourselves because I'm a mountain. Now the problem is mountains don't move. Mountains are quite fixed. And when a plane flies into a mountain, everybody dies. So any conflict creates disaster. Okay. But this is what the common thought of the world is. You must have your boundaries, you must be important, you must be respected, you must be admired, you're awesome. You know this, I don't know, do you hear that one here? Very new agey thing. I'm awesome, I'm great, I'm amazing. These affirmations about how wonderful you are, Okay? That's making you into a mountain. But a mountain doesn't move. A mountain is always fearful of being attacked. And when the plane goes in, everybody dies. So my view is we need to be a cloud. Because a cloud is totally free, can go anywhere. You cannot catch it, contain it, destroy it, take a piece of it. And when the plane goes through a cloud, it's pretty. Nobody gets hurt, not the plane, the passengers, and not the cloud. You can shoot missiles through the cloud. You cannot hurt or touch a cloud. Now, a cloud can also be white and puffy and decorative. It can give shade, or it can get so dark it blots out the sun, which means a cloud is more powerful than the sun. And the cloud can cover a mountain. A cloud is totally free because it doesn't need recognition. It doesn't need anything. It's untouchable, okay? So the more you're demanding respect, attention, and you are important, you're awesome, you're great, you matter, the more suffering you will have. Because the more fear you will have, the more limited you are. But the more you don't care, because no one can hurt you or touch you, all their insults, all their attacks, all their intimidation just goes right through you. It can't touch you. Right? So that's the concept. So this afternoon is how to become a cloud. Right? But first you have to understand, and if you accept that your whole life you've tried to be a mountain, to show, I'm rich, I'm beautiful, I'm handsome, I'm this, I'm that, you must love and respect me, has always, your whole life has been counterproductive. But the more you become irrelevant, the more power you have.
Because you're identifying yourself to a narrative all the time to feel powerful in the mountain position, where the ego is working.
Yep.
So it's always identifying to a narrative or a story to be attached and to...
Yep. So you have fixed opinions, you Medusa your brain, yeah. But the cloud is constantly changing and growing and free to do whatever it wants, anywhere it wants, and cannot be touched. That is ultimate power. In Lao Tzu, Tao Te Ching says the advantage is of being useless, because a nice straight tree will get cut down and used for timber. But the tree that grows in all twisted, knotty ways, not knotty like bad, but knots and twisty, is useless. So no one touches it, so it grows to 1,000 years old. So the advantage of being a cloud and free, no one can touch you. You can live eternally. You can grow eternally. But if you're a mountain of gold, eventually there's no more gold, there's no more mountain. Right? So our goal is to become a cloud. It means humble in a true sense, which means you can say anything you want to me. And like a couple of my customers said to me over years, you know something, and I want to know what that is. How do you take all this shit and never get bothered? Right? That's power. And that's the power that builds your business. That's the power that controls someone else. Because if somebody is hitting you, and they can't, right? Try to hit a cloud. Try to punch a cloud. Who's going to win? Who will survive at the end? Is the cloud, right? Because the other one's going to go, oh, I am tired. So all the attacks, the insult, the narcissists, all of that, when they cannot affect you, they eventually tire out. And then they say, how do you do that? So you now have power. So the power in being irrelevant. And that's why the exercise of walking in a cemetery, looking at all the stones to say, who was this person? Who was this one? Who was that one? I have no idea. They're irrelevant. I'm irrelevant. Now I can become a cloud. And so, okay? So you get the concept of the power as being a cloud. right? Now you like to be a mountain like everybody. So how do you maintain being a mountain and come to be a cloud? That is by having boundaries. So as long as you have boundaries, you will always, you've got to protect yourself. So boundaries are strange. I thought I'd put that other slide. Okay, so I guess it comes later. Boundaries are, you cannot talk to me this way. You cannot say this way. So you're saying they're narcissists. You don't like that because they talk to you a certain way. You have a boundary. You shouldn't cross that boundary by saying that thing. I get upset or hurt or feel bad when you cross that boundary. So boundaries are basically bubbles that one day it pops and you crash to the ground. So every time we set up a boundary that tells another person what they cannot do, we are also creating a fear that they will cross it. So for all this talk of boundaries, we must have boundaries, is totally counterproductive. I am so against the New Agey movement and common modern psychology and all of these things because they're all designed to limit you. Why? It's good for business. If I teach you this is the way to be happy, but in effect, that makes you more scared and problems, then that's good for my business because you keep coming back for help, right? So boundaries are the worst thing you can have because that means you're a mountain that needs protecting. So what happens to a fort, right? You have your little fort city in the olden times. They build the wall around the fort. And what do they put on the wall? Guards. And they have their archers and their army ready to climb up to the wall to fight the enemies who are going to attack them. And they're always building armies to protect themselves for their border. We're going to get there, yes. Yeah. We're going to get to the difference, okay? But first of all, we have to understand the concept of boundaries is counterproductive because what a boundary is telling someone else what they can and cannot do. Aside from creating fear that someone will cross the boundary, which means you're building more fears in you, it is so arrogant. You are playing God. You are telling another human being what they can or cannot do. And at the hypocrisy of it is that you don't want anyone else telling you what you can or cannot do or say. So what you do whenever you create a boundary about someone else should not be what they are. You are creating fear in yourself. You are creating guilt in yourself because you know you're telling them to do what you want them to do and you have no right to do that. And you are being a hypocrite. And so what does that do to your self-esteem? Down the toilet. And if you have no self-esteem or low self-esteem, your confidence is also down, which means you're always living in doubt of your ability to deal with situations or to succeed or to do what you want to do instead of what your family thinks you should do because you're scared of what they think of you. So you see the domino chain of I'm important, I have my boundaries, and okay, so the whole concept has to be thrown away in order for you to be a cloud, which doesn't need a boundary because it can't be touched. I want to do this. Whatever you think, I don't care. It's my life. I'm baby no name again. I'm going to live my life, not your life. If you attack me, you know what? Every time someone puts me down, I'm honored. I take it as a compliment. Why? Every time you're put down, it's really jealousy. All of it is jealousy. Everyone looks at the old man with the young girl. Oh, disgusting. He's giving her money. She's on that. And then they're also thinking, but I wish I was, if you're a woman, I wish I was that young and pretty. And if you're a man, I wish I could have a hot young girl. It always comes out of jealousy. Every attack. They're narcissists? No, they're jealous. Every attack is out of jealousy, envy. If you think like that, then you're the cloud, right? Oh, they're just wishing they could be me, but they can't grab a piece of me. But if I'm a mountain, I'm in fear because their jealousy is they want to take a piece of me. So I need boundaries and live in fear and all of this. then I get insulted and hurt. All right?
So if your bedroom's right here, right?
Yeah.
So if I was crashing here, if I said, you know what, I've been evicted, blah, 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 you know, I need a place to stay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you let me stay here. I mean, I say it's going to take me about a month to like find something, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you go out, you know, I'm sitting here looking for a job online, that sort of thing. And then, I don't know, some idle Tuesday, you find me in your bedroom because I'm taking a nap on your bed. I used to crash on the couch before because
Yeah.
those were the rules.
Yeah.
Or rather, that's kind of what was expected. And I like your bedroom. It's nice and spacious.
Mm.
I'm just going to sleep here for a minute. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay?
Okay.
Now I've taken your bedroom.
Right.
Okay. So, I mean, the person's crossed that boundary.
Right. Now's where we get exactly to the difference between morals and boundaries. Morals are what I will and will not do. Boundaries are what I tell you to do. Okay? So now my morals are, I mean, that's a tougher example to use, but basically my morals are I will let you sleep on my couch, but not on my bed, because that's where I sleep. So I'll say, no, I'm sorry, that's mine, and you cannot have it. But now I could say that's a boundary that you've crossed, and I'll get upset, right? But instead, I think it's what he wants. He's allowed to be a human. He's allowed to not consider and be respectful of my things. He just wants, a human is an animal, and it has its desires for pleasure and its weaknesses and its fears. So I allow for you to be arrogant, rude, greedy, because you're human, it's part of you. And I can very calmly say, no, that's my bed, sorry, you can't stay here. You have the couch or the door, okay? Because that's mine, that's my moral, that's not a boundary, okay? So a moral is a girl applies for a job and the boss says, you can have the job, but you have to have sex with me. Now she can get upset. You've crossed the boundary by telling me that. You shouldn't want that. You shouldn't say that that's a condition. So you've crossed the boundary by saying what you want. Now I'm angry. And if you're American, you sue them and put them in jail. But my moral is that I will not do that. And I don't have boundaries, so you can say whatever you want, because the boundary is I'm controlling you. The moral is what I will do. There's the difference.
So in his, sorry, Eric, right?
Yes.
In Eric's example, is the solution, because the solution is not to say we're both clouds, sleep wherever the fuck you want.
No.
That's not the solution.
Not at all, no.
The solution, in my mind, is, first of all, understanding is, does Eric have the same morals as me so that we both agree that this is my bedroom and this is the couch?
Yeah. And you
That's
can,
the solution.
yes, but he doesn't have the same. You never expect anyone to be you.
No, but we can agree on the same morals.
No, you cannot. If yours, well, wait, you can agree, but you cannot impose.
Agreed.
Yeah, okay. So I can say my morals are that I let you stay on the couch. Your morals are you can take anything you want. But I can't tell you not to want that. That's the difference. I cannot impose on you to have the same morals as I have. That's a boundary. That's controlling you. I can allow you to be whatever you want. So the boss who says to the girl, you have to have sex with me, I can't tell him not to be an asshole. I can't tell him not to be some piece of shit who thinks he can do that. He has the right to do that. Every human being has the right to be as stupid as they possibly can. And I have no right to tell you not to be stupid or not to have your morals instead of my morals.
In that situation, you would choose not to be in that situation.
I'll just say, no, I'm sorry, I told you, that's my bed, this is your bed. You have this choice, so you can leave or you can stay. But I don't get angry at you for wanting to stay in my bed.
Yeah, agreed.
That's where the difference. I allow you to expect that. I don't get upset. Boundaries, when you cross a boundary, you get angry, right? Whenever you cross a boundary, you're going to have an emotional reaction. You've crossed my boundary. How could you do that? Right? That's the response.
How do you adapt that to the sexual example then? Is it the lady's responsibility to then not be in that position because it's outside of her morals?
Exactly. She can say, forget it, I don't want the job.
I don't want the job.
Exactly.
So I'm going to remove, but it's fine for you to want that, but because I don't want that, I'm going to remove myself from the job.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep. But girls will agree because they can be manipulated because they live in fear.
And then blame the guy.
Correct. But they made the choice.
Right.
Remember the beginning? Take responsibility for everything in your life. Don't blame the guy. He has the right to want what he wants. But you have to take the responsibility of your morals. Will you do it or not?
So the word imposing a boundary is wrong.
Correct. Yeah.
You shouldn't impose a boundary. I guess you're going to get to what you should do then.
Yeah. But basically, that's it. You have your morals.
Do that now because I'm banking on that.
Okay. Yeah. See,
I'm not leaving. I'm going to sleep in your bed.
no problem. We'll be done by this afternoon because there's only one bed and I don't sleep with men. All right. See, the cloud just says, I don't want to be here. I float away.
Right.
No boundaries. This is what's so important. I never tell anyone what they should do, think, or say. If you cross my boundary, which is that door, I'll just say to you, I understand. You have different set of morals, different values, different fears, whatever it is. But that's my home. So I say no one sleeps in my bed, so get out. Without having any guilt about telling you to get out. There's the difference. Now, if you've set up boundaries and I said, don't cross this doorway, and you do, ooh, you've done what I don't want you to do. Now I'm angry. Now we fight. Because I set up a rule which I want you to follow.
You became a mountain.
Right. But if I understand every human being is as stupid as they possibly can be, and they have their own ways of thinking, and they don't know how to think differently, and I cannot change your morals or your values, and I say it's not a boundary, it's just a rule, and you've crossed that line, I remain calm. And without any guilt or fear, I'll just tell you, get the hell out. See, the difference is my emotional response is not a negative feeling of fear and guilt and manipulation, or, oh my God, how can I tell him to leave? He's my friend. I'm too scared, so okay, I'll sleep on the balcony, right? That's the weakness of a mountain, because it can be manipulated, because it lives in fear of rejection, going back to the baby who grew up scared of the big giants saying, I'm not going to feed you anymore, or I'll beat you if you don't eat. But when you're a cloud, you can just say, no, I'm sorry, I told you no. You have a choice, here or there, out, but without feeling guilt. That's the difference, okay? So I don't impose a boundary, because a boundary is I expect you not to cross, because I've set up this rule. And that's the arrogance of thinking every human being will do what you say, so you're playing God, and then you have all your other fears and guilt and all of this.
And then if they don't do it, you get angry.
That's right.
So
Because I'm God. How could you disobey me? Now you're going to burn in hell for all eternity. That's the whole thing of religion, right? God set up the commandments. If you disobey God's commandments, you will burn in hell for eternity. So if you go into my bed, I get angry, and now you will burn in hell for all eternity. Therefore, I am God. And who are we to play God? So there you go. And you just continue to mess up your subconscious feelings about yourself, because you know you're playing a part that you're not worthy of.
I mean, just a second, that way, what if you, okay, you're in the cloud, you've told them not to sleep on your bed, right?
Mm.
And then their response is you're overreacting, which triggers you because you get angry.
But
I get angry.
yeah,
Because that's to say you're overreacting and upset that this is a clear rule, like you're not supposed to cross this line out of respect, right?
yeah,
And then they cross it, then they say you're overreacting, then you're angry, then you're like, get out.
yeah.
And then you start feeling
But the
guilty.
point is,
Wait, did I overreact?
yeah, but why did you get angry?
You got
See?
angry because I think I have a problem with this because I usually feel like if I'm doing something right, if I respect, it has to be also,
Reciprocated.
yeah, it has to
Yeah.
be reciprocated.
Right.
And sometimes I have a problem not understanding why people are not reciprocating.
That's why you got angry.
And it gets really
Yeah.
frustrating, like so simple. Just
Yeah. But that's why you got angry. You played God expecting everyone to be the way you are. That's where you get angry with people.
I mean, then what is the alternative?
Humans are stupid, selfish, idiotic assholes.
If you say humans are stupid,
Yeah.
then are you not also having a God complex if you go around thinking
No, no, no.
and everybody's an idiot?
Yep, that's not a God complex. That's accepting them as they are.
It's
So
facts, right?
accepting the
It is being God. Right? Don't they say God loves everyone? God accepts everyone as we are? So you are actually being more like God by letting them be what they are and not expecting or demanding them to be what you want. My grandfather always said, God created every creature equal, except to humans, he gave us freedom of choice. And when you get angry because you did not give that person the freedom to choose being an asshole, then you are really not doing what God does, right?
well, okay, I'm not Christian, but anyway, the point is it's because you, for in my situation, not that I am trying to control who they are or their response. In my mind, I feel like this is how things should be.
Right.
Wait, in a perfect world, meaning that I see that I see the best scenario.
You
What's the
see
word?
an illusion.
I'm not
You
crazy,
see
but-
an imagination.
No, wait. It's like I see you at your best potential. Like this is how you should.
Potential,
Yeah,
not reality.
That's why I think there's a difficulty in reconciling the two.
Right.
And what is wrong with that? What is wrong in seeing someone at their
Because
best?
it's not reality.
Because it's not reality. You know what? I did a course, I did a workshop for parenting for Singaporean Chinese parents. And they're saying, my kid doesn't listen to me. And I tell them something, and I say, do you understand? And the kid says, yes, I understand, but they still don't listen. I said, well, who's the idiot? You are. You expect a 4-year-old to understand adult concepts? So you are expecting other people to understand and follow your values. Now, if you actually are God, or at least significantly more evolved or mature, and you expect those to understand and follow your level when they're way down here, who's the idiot?
But hold on that,
Because
on that
also I think-
concept. Sorry.
No, because I think, sorry, I think also you are putting conditions. But once
Yeah.
you are putting conditions in the way you are dealing with the other, that means that you are also controlling in a way.
Exactly.
Well,
If you do that, then I love you. If you
No,
don't
no,
do that,
I don't love you.
I know.
Yeah.
But at the same time that I don't love
No, I
you.
think I see it in both ways. Like I
Me
see
too.
it in both ways. It's you know how you can be with someone, your friend, family member, whatever it is, and you see the best scenario. I'm not crazy, but you see the best situation. Like you don't expect. Okay, it's how when you're raised up, especially in an African setting, your parent is always telling you like, oh, this is we expect you to be this, expect you. So it does also trigger a form of response where you try to go towards that direction. Am I making sense?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so
The-
live up to the expectation. So because you, as a parent, okay, not a
Okay.
parent, is because you see the best potential in that child. So that's what I'm saying it. I'm not saying it in the form of I'm trying to control that person and must do what I say.
Yeah.
Like it's in another, there's the other side.
Okay, okay. We've got to keep moving because it's 1 o'clock already, and we'll have lots of time after to discuss. But I'm actually going to answer that all. But
I was just
yeah,
thinking, am I right in understanding you're just saying you're going about your way of doing things, like which you think is good or right or whatever,
Yeah.
that you're doing your thing,
Yeah.
and then those people are coming at you and trying to trigger you, probably being pessimistic about something you feel quite optimistic about. So is that where the clash is happening as well?
Yeah.
And
I
it's
would
like
say
almost
one.
you're thinking like, why?
Why?
Exactly.
And then you're left with the why.
Yeah,
You
because
see,
you're-
then you're obsessed with the why.
Correct.
Like, why did this person did this happen this way? And it's
Because
just
you were
'cause
okay,
it's-
you were moving, you're doing
the next
your
slide
thing.
answers.
The
This
next
is
slide.
masculine and feminine, I feel.
it's like and then you're just
Like
left with the
a
why.
way of thinking.
And you're trying to figure out
It's
why.
like why
Yeah.
you're disrupting, why are you coming at me with disruption or trying to trigger
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, the next slide is answering this question. So perfectly timed. You know, I made this knowing what humans will think. Yeah. But first, did I sort out what you said about sleeping in my bed?
Yes, but we will circle back.
Okay.
In the later part.
Right. But you're not sleeping in my bed. No,
Morning
okay.
Intel, remember that.
Yeah, no, but that actually did happen to me, so we'll
Okay.
talk about that, yeah.
All right. Now, it's not masculine and feminine. Everybody just has the same expectations. We just apply it or express it differently in the masculine and feminine. Basically, the problem is everyone lives in fantasy land, expecting people to be just like them. I suffered tremendously with why are people so stupid? When I started my first retail store, I was 21 years old, and I had an older friend, and I said, Dave, his name is also David. I said, they're so stupid. Where am I going to get decent employees? These people are so stupid. And he said, Dave, if everyone was as smart as you, who would work for you? Huh? What? It's hot. He's the one in control of the air.
I'm in control.
All right, cool. If everyone was as smart as you, who would work for you? Right?
Someone told me that too, by the way, when
Okay.
I started running the business.
Yeah. So we have to accept that nobody else will think and value the same things you do. And your suffering comes from being a mountain and expecting that I am this way, everyone should be this way. But when I'm a cloud, you'll notice there's no two clouds the same.
But that is great as an adult. But how do you help a child to get there without imposing those habits? For example, like if I just let my kid be a cloud at 4 years old, he's never going to learn anything.
How do you know that? First of all, what example are you setting? That's where a kid learns. Kid doesn't learn by doing. A kid learns by seeing.
Yeah.
So they see you.
Hypothetical situation, there is no school, all right? I live in the bush.
Okay?
That kid is going to watch me hunt,
Yep.
all right? He's going to grow up mimicking regardless,
Yep.
right? So if I'm a hunter, he's going to hunt. But if I just let him be
Mm-hmm.
and I don't feed him, he's probably going to hunt by 4.5.
Okay.
4. But if I continue feeding him and just letting him be a cloud, he might get to 8 or 9 and I'm still feeding him. He's not surviving.
Well, that's not being a cloud. Neither of you are being a cloud. You do need to take some responsibilities for what needs to be done, but do it in a way that you're allowing the person to still be who they are. Because how do clouds move? Wind. Right? So the cloud is still a cloud, but the wind blows it in a certain direction. Humidity levels are making clouds dissipate or form. Temperature levels, you know how a cloud forms? Is cool air hits a mountain, it rises. As it rises, it condenses, and the moisture turns into a cloud. Okay, that's how clouds form. By cool air rising, hot air rising, as it cools, as it goes into higher elevation, the water in the air condenses, forms a cloud. Then winds move those clouds.
Yeah.
So as a father, you need to be the wind, not changing the cloud, but guiding it. And so therefore you have to be
That's my question.
the, okay.
How do I teach this child without imposing habits and just letting it be?
Well, that's moment to
There's-
moment.
I don't see an example in the last 2,000 years of being humans.
It's moment to moment. When, okay, if I can only see like this, then yeah, you're correct. These are the ways. But when you're more open-minded, you'll see different ways of doing things, which you cannot see as long as you're fixed in your ways of saying, this is the way to do it.
Can I answer him?
Okay,
Can
quickly.
you just repeat the question again, just to make sure that I have the answer?
Yeah, I mean, I almost feel like in the 70s, people had these conversations and they went, fuck it, we're going to be hippies. Sorry my language. by
Yeah,
the way,
it's
guys.
okay. I think we all use that word.
How dare you? I'm angry. You shouldn't have done that. You're making me angry.
Yeah, how dare you use that word in front of me?
Yes. I'm
Good.
angry. You make me angry.
So
Exactly, yeah.
the hippies were like, okay, we're done with this.
Right.
We're going to be clouds. We're going to do whatever we want, and we're going to have this way of living. 20 years later, those children who are born to hippies
Yeah,
are still living in the bush in America, for
Yeah,
example.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just giving you an example.
yeah.
Or Ireland, and they're traveling, or whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't gone anywhere in terms of achievement,
Mhm.
or what I perceive to be
Yeah.
achievement, because that's my perception and what I've learned.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a breakdown in that
Right.
cycle.
Yep. Okay, look. A cloud can be white and puffy, or it can be black and stormy. You can be a tornado, block up hurricane, typhoons, right? The cloud becomes different things depending on what is needed or the environment creates. So the point of being a cloud is that you don't get affected by events around you. It is not for you to make other people into a cloud. There's only one person you're working on, right? Now, a cloud is adaptive, a mountain is not. So a child is constantly changing. That means you are only concerned about you adapting to moment and knowing, am I going to be stormy and yell and give him a spanking? Or am I going to just give a little bit of shade, or what to do at each moment? Because when the kid runs in the street and you say, darling, please don't do that, they run again. Please don't, it upsets me. They do it again. Oh, I get worried. They do it again. Whack! They stop doing it. So the white puffy cloud turns into the black stormy cloud depending on the situation.
The alternative is that that kid goes and runs again and gets hit by a car.
That's why you get to the point where you give them a smack. So they learn.
The question is that what's...
I think you're identifying the idea of a cloud to the idea of...
I don't care about the cloud.
Okay, because we're talking here about freedom, I
Sure.
think. Okay, so about the hippies, that they are very free, right? And they, I don't know, reach the state. And then now you're talking about the kids, right? So how you can deal with the kid without conditioning his mind, without
Yes,
imposing.
Yeah.
I'm seeing how do you...
I think, and from my experience, because I work with kids,
Mhm.
by giving them options and to let them express how they feel in the options that you are giving them.
Right, okay.
Okay,
That-
but
This is
because,
my-
yeah, I know,
this
but
is
we're
my
going on
approach.
now. This is diverting to how do you raise a child. The work we're doing is how you can become free. You're the only one that you need to be thinking about now.
Right.
Okay?
I think his mind is at how he doesn't impose a perpetual stupidity into his children.
By you evolving past being a mountain into a cloud, then you adapt to moment. If you ask, if this happens, how do I deal with it? You're a mountain. Because every two people ask the same question, you'll get two different answers. Because each person is asking something else. So the cloud adapts to the moment. We cannot have, this is how you deal with this situation, because the conditions of that situation, when it occurs, could be so different than the moment right now. Okay? So don't think of how you should behave. Right now, it's how do you respond? What we're working on today, how do I respond to situations so that I no longer have negative responses which affect me and then go on to affect my children and so on. Okay? So that's what we have to stay focused on. Now, getting back to what you're talking about, if you go to a snake, or there's a snake living up here and I'm rock climbing and I put my hand above me to get a handhold, the snake sees an attack, so it bites. Can you get angry at the snake? No, because it's just responding. So all these things you're talking about, the narcissist, the controller, this and that, they are responding to the perceived threat. Okay? So you now get angry because they attacked. But they didn't attack. They're defending themselves because they perceived a threat to their job, a threat to their income, a threat to their authority. Now, if everyone is living in fear, then anything that could be perceived a threat is a bigger threat because they're always living in fear of you crossing the boundary, which could be you're trying to take my job or you're trying to take my money. So I'm always living in fear of anything I perceive. But when you're saying, I expect them to be that way, that's not right because you don't know what fears they live with that to you is innocent. For example, you know Bill Murray, the actor. Some years ago, he was he was acting in a movie. The movie got more than halfway done and they canceled it. They shut down the production. Why? He made a joke off camera on the side. He made a joke and a lady, they refused to say who, was so upset by his joke, she made a big enough stink that they had to shut down the production. And I saw the interview with him on the news after. He said, I'm a comedian. I said something that I thought was funny, but this person took it in a way that was insulting. And she got so upset, made such a stink, they shut that. You know, millions of dollars, how many jobs? That movie just got shelved. Because one woman took what one comedian made as a funny, harmless joke and made a big thing of it. And the repercussions, you see? So whenever you're feeling that, why didn't they understand? Why didn't they take it the way I meant? Why didn't they? I would have responded this way. You're forgetting that the snake felt attacked and didn't attack, it defended, right? So we must never expect anybody, even a child, especially a child, or any adult, 17 PhDs, $6 billion, businesses, 85 years old, should be so mature and intelligent. How could he not know? No, that's your mistake. You are expecting another human being to be going by your morals and your values, and that is wrong. Okay? So that's being a mountain with boundaries, saying this is how it should be. Well, you're basically being Hitler or any other big dictator, Mussolini, whatever. This is how it should be. Do what I say or I kill you. So we have to be more of a cloud, allowing everyone to be unique and not live by your ways, okay? That is how you control situations in a way that works harmoniously, right? Does that start to make more sense, okay? And it goes with your children too. But remember, clouds adapt from white and puffy, or actually, I mean, even if you don't see a cloud, the moisture is there, just waiting for the temperature to cool so a cloud can form. So from that to a hurricane, blacked out the sun, it adapts moment to moment. So you've got to become that adaptable. Then you will know what to do at each moment. But if you want to know what should I do, then you're being a mountain. You're being more rigid. And then you'll never know the right thing to do. Right? Okay? This is a little more clearing both the things. So remember, animals attack for self-preservation. If you feel they have attacked you, you have ignored that They are just living in fear, attacking whoever is in front of them when they perceive a threat. So you did something that threatened them. If you're a cloud, their attack will go right through you. By your humility to understand, they should not or cannot know what you really meant. But if you expected them to know it was a harmless joke, then you're going to end up in that fight, okay? Because a fight is you hit me, I hit you. You hit me, I hit you. So then we fight, two mountains clashing. But if I did something, you hit me, okay, you're different. You didn't physically hit me. I'll let that go right through me, calm down, no more fight. That's how I got the parents to change. Their kids totally changed within less than a week. When I got them to understand that you cannot tell a child that they should understand something, what they should do, how they should behave, because they're 4 years old. They don't have to obey you just because you had this child. So when you allow freedom, when you allow someone to be nasty, narcissist, not listen to you, do what they want to do, without saying, you must do what I say, you are wrong, you've crossed the boundary, but rather you'll say, oh, why did you do that? Let me understand. Why did you respond that way? Not through my opinion of how you should respond, but through being a cloud which adapts to the mountain, right? The cloud changes shape to adapt. Let me understand, where did that come from? Then they calm down and there's no more fight. Then you can guide them. Because mountain and cloud, who wears out over 1,000 years? The mountain wears out with all that rain. Eventually the cloud wins. The mountain wears down and adapts, okay? Now, I want to get to this. This is, really important. We want to get through this before we break for lunch. Words have no value. Another concept that I have that contradicts what everyone says, which is words matter. Words are powerful. Words are important. And I'm saying words have no value whatsoever. They are only sounds that you interpret and give them a value. So when someone yells at you or attacks you, you are taking that as an attack. Mais si je parle français, je dis que tu es tout fou, il n'y a pas de chance en vie que tu vas être un succès, tu vas être une grande vache, et il n'y a pas de chance en vie qu'il n'y a rien de bien qui va avoir. Right? Oh, it's very nice. I assume you speak French, but do you? You're smiling.
I picked up some words.
Okay. If I said you're all stupid, crazy, there's no chance in this life that you will ever succeed, you're a bunch of big fat cows, and there's just no chance in life for any hope for any of you. But it didn't affect you because you didn't understand what I said. But when you do understand, you didn't actually understand. You interpreted what I said and gave it a meaning to which you then intellectually have processed to have an emotional reaction. But if you let me just talk, you'll see that words are a knife put on the table that you picked up and stuck in your own heart. Words have no value, but words are what you respond to, because we're not beating each other up physically. We're attacking with words. Unless I ate a lot of raw garlic and I'm right in your face, which that can kill you. But
what about if you are saying to a child you are stupid, then he's gonna feel that he is stupid.
Exactly. You're forming that child into their fears. So what did you just say? How did my parents screw me up with their words? Because I listened.
Energy as well, no? It's like
No, a word is nothing. It's a sound. You have interpreted the meaning of that word, and you now have an emotional reaction to that word. So if your parents said, you're stupid, you're bad, you're a failure, and you interpret that to mean I'm no good, because they taught you that's what those words mean. Now, as an adult, if I say those words, you will go back to that childhood emotion and feel the same inadequacy. Okay? But now I'm telling you, you have been very badly formed to give meaning to words. Remember, now something happens, you intellectually process, identify what that means, and now have an emotional reaction.
Okay.
But if,
But on the other side, in the spiritual or religion, for example, in Hinduism or Buddhism,
yeah,
you have these mantras and they use words to create this positive energy within the soul or with the aura or whatever.
yeah,
So how can you say that words are not
because the word only has value when you are told that if you say this mantra, it will affect your heart chakra. But if I just said, say this word, okay, ba 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 ba, so nothing happens. It only happens because they've told you this word will do this. So you intellectually have given yourself an emotional response because you've been told
so
to
you are
think
saying
it.
that mantras and everything that they use in religion, they don't exist.
In
They
itself, it
are-
has,
they are
yeah,
irrelevant.
Meaning exists.
that's it. The meaning you give it.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
applied
The
meaning
meaning you
exists.
give
Ah,
it.
the meaning you give it. The word itself is empty. It's a sound. It doesn't do anything other than what you think it does.
So I could teach you that bad, for example, is something good.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, this is one exercise I've used in my school with long-term students, is when you get together, you have a meal, never use the right word. You want them to pass the salt? Can you please give me a toothpick? Can you,
Sorry, say again, please.
when you have a meal together,
Yeah.
or any time, never use the right word. So I want you to pass the salt. I said, can you please fly an airplane?
Yeah.
Can you please give me a toothpick?
Yeah.
When I want you to give me the salt.
Yeah.
So you experience through this very fun actual exercise that words have no meaning. Because what will happen is, I say, can you please give me a toothpick? And you will give me the salt.
Yeah.
You go beyond words through a practical exercise. That's how you teach your subconscious that when I say you're stupid, I might be saying, I wish I was as good as you.
Did you grow up Shia, by the way?
No,
No.
I'm
Do you,
Christian.
are you Muslim?
No, I'm
So
not
you-
Muslim.
Does anyone understand the?
Yeah, I was a Sufi.
Okay,
so I understand.
Where my mind went is when people do matan, for example,
Yeah.
when they beat their chest,
Hmm.
they would either say Ya Hussein, but they could also say Ya Ali or Fatima, for example.
Yeah.
The meaning is the same. The word is different,
Yep.
but the actual what we've been told in our religion is that it's that word is supposed to invoke a feeling.
Yep.
And I think it's the same as a child. If you say the word, say thank you. Well, you're invoking that behavior in a child to say, well, thank you means
Yeah.
gratefulness. But actually,
It could mean anything. Kifak. Kifak.
Yeah.
What do you think? Kifak. I greet you. I meet you in the street. Kifak. Whoa, that bastard. I said, how are you in Arabic?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, hello, how are you? Kifak.
Yeah.
But it means, how are you in Arabic? The word has no meaning. You interpret. In French, oh, I was on the beach. I saw a tufok on the beach. A fok means a seal. It's an animal. But you interpret. What did he say? He crossed the boundary. He said that dirty word to me. Ha, what a bad man. I just said I saw two seals on the beach. It's not my fault I don't know the word in English, right? You see? Words have no value. You give it value because you're a mountain, it crossed the boundary. That boundary says this word means this. That word is an attack. Huh? It's okay?
Yeah.
Okay. That word's an attack. He's attacked me. Snake in hand. Bang.
My comment to Maria is exactly that, because I swear, because I don't apply any meaning to that word.
But
Yep.
then I take offense. And I'm like, why are you swearing?
Why are you
Because
swearing?
I don't like that. That doesn't feel nice, and I feel.
You don't like the word.
Approach.
In Quebec, the French Canadian, how do they say something is broken? Well, so It's a joke. So the guy from Toronto comes to Quebec and Montreal. He says, well, I need to learn French because, so I need to learn Quebec. So he's getting lessons and, this typical things. He says, yeah, but I want something practical. For example, my watch is broken. How do I go to the store and I say, my watch is broken? Ma montre, my watch, est toute fuckée. Because fuckée means broken. And he says, I can't, what if it's a woman? What do I say? He says, if it's a woman, ma montre est toute fuckée, madame. You go to your grandmother and say, c'est toute fuckée là. And it's cool. Because there it means broken. Yeah. I remember my grandfather once said, this thing has gone fut. Fut? How could you say that? He said, fut, F-U-T, fut, means broken. Yeah. They're just sounds. You have screwed yourself up by giving meaning. Like the snake sees a hand thinking it's being attacked. It gave meaning and felt panic and attacked back. Words are nothing more than a knife on the table.
There's something in religion also related to Christianism. When Jesus say, I'm the Word, just like thinking about, what is that? I'm the Word.
I don't know. And the Word was with God or something. I have no idea what that means. Yeah. I mean, we could say word is a sound. Sound is vibration. Vibration moves objects, which is true, right? So you can say there's power in words.
Vibration. It has vibration.
Yeah, but I mean physical vibration.
Energy, like when we're speaking.
Energy.
It's vibration. It's energy.
No. Energy is basically a force that makes something happen, right? Energy is electricity. It's something. Be careful how you use the word energy to give it some mystical value, and then it just takes you off living in illusion, okay? Energy is electricity. Energy is the force that gives movement to a physical object so that that physical object moves, all right? That's really what energy is. Words, sound is vibration. The right sound can break glass, right? So, okay, sound makes vibration, makes things happen because vibration is physical. But there you can say words have power. But where a word itself has no power. However, if I go, look what it did to you, right? Sound is powerful. Scares. If you do that to a little kid, watch their reaction, okay? So the word itself is not of value. Sound, whatever the word is, spoken in the right way, gives an emotional reaction. Because if I love you, you're not going to feel love, are you?
Yeah.
That's right? So words have no meaning. That's the point. So the narcissist, the controller, they use words to protect themselves because they feel attacked. When you understand that, you are a cloud, let the words go right through you. Eventually, they get tired of trying to attack a cloud. And then they calm down, and you become the power. Okay? So, words have no meaning. They are useless. But why do we get affected? Because a human loves self-pity. So we love to complain about how that person attacked me, how they hurt me. Meanwhile, we're drilling the knife in ourselves, right? Why? Why do we love self-pity, right? We all agree humans love self-pity, right? Why? Everything happens for a reason. Yeah, I mean, that is another story. Often the reason is you're stupid and you made a mistake. But why do we love self-pity? Because the number one need of every human being is companionship. Because when we're born, if we don't have that companionship, we starve and die. So the one need, and you see it with kids, they're climbing all over you. They don't want to be left alone. Old people, they're almost dead. They don't want to be left alone. In the middle, we just busy ourselves with activities so we don't have to feel alone, but we're always lonely. Let's face it, couples get together, they hate each other, but they stay together because they don't want to be alone. I mean, not everybody, but some. The need of companionship. And we don't get it. In our world today, we feel very alone. We don't have anyone to turn to. We don't have someone who will support us, generally. If you're lucky enough to have a good wife or a husband, lucky you. But normally we don't have that. We're on our own. So we need that feeling that someone is there. And when do people come to show you they care? Oh, life is great. Yeah, I'm taking a holiday. I'm rich. I bought a new house. Oh, very nice for you. But, oh my God, I lost my job. My husband left me. My boss yelled at me. Oh, poor baby. Let me take you out to dinner. Let me cuddle you. The more self-pity we have, the more problems, the more attention and care and love we get. Correct? So we love self-pity because it gives us the feeling of companionship and support that we desperately need.
Isn't it? It's the same thing. You're still applying meaning to the word, because even when you're demanding attention, it's the reverse, right? It's you're pulling. You're trying to pull from the other person that response that you're expecting from
Yep.
that meaning that you've given to that string of words.
Yep. And if you're just complaining, crying, oh, they did this to me. It's not that I screwed up, but they did this. He said that. He hurt me. She hurt me. All of that self-pity. Then they come and say, you poor victim, because they are evil. Let me protect you and cuddle you. And that is the dominoes of feeling attacked. They hate me, they attack me, they're terrible people, they hurt me by the words they said, so I took the knife to stick it in myself, twisted it, poor me, I'm suffering, help me, make me feel better, because I need to feel loved. Because my self-esteem is low and I don't feel I'm worthy of love, so I need to have the self-pity from the problems so that you will love me. Otherwise, you won't love me because my self-esteem says I'm not worthy of love. And that's because of how I was malformed up until now. Does that now, that length of dominoes make sense?
And it should not be your prerogative that they are not morally right. That's where the distinction is. Yeah, this
Yep.
is about you, and you need to see you.
Exactly. They have the right to be morally wrong. I have my morals. You will not make me have sex with you to get money. So I will say no. But your morals are so screwed up, you think you can. But you have that right. Every human being has the birthright to be as stupid as they possibly can. And most take advantage due to how they have been malformed. Remember, you're screwed. Everyone is screwed up. And it's not my place to change you until I have become a fully enlightened Buddha. Then I have the right to teach you how to change. But you have, as being a Buddha, I give you the right to be stupid, because that's your right as freedom, free will that every human has. Unfortunately, you use that free will to keep stabbing yourself with self-pity because you don't know how you've been broken and how to reform yourself by going back to baby no name so that you can allow everyone to be mountains and stupid boundaries, but you can be a cloud and you're free. Then you're unaffected by what's happening. To whatever degree you can be unaffected, right? I mean, obviously we're affected by pollution, by people cutting down the trees, destroying the environment. Yes, I'm affected physically, but not emotionally. That's the difference. Yes, they can screw your home up. They can destroy your world. They can take your money, but you don't have to be upset by it. That's our line. Is that yes, you can. You know, there's like the story of Alexander the Great was going to India and he's asked his friends, what do you want me to bring you back? They said, we've heard of this thing called a sadhu, holy man. Bring us one of those. So, okay, So he goes and he hears, he asks, and someone says, there's a great sadhu, he lives in that village. He sends his people, go get me the sadhu. So they go, please, sir, Alexander the Great would like to meet you. No, 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 he wants to meet me, he come to me. Wow. So, and Alexander, he's a wise man. He says, he probably doesn't understand who I am. Go and explain who I am. So they go back and they see, he's the great world conqueror, power, power. If he wants to meet me, he can come to me. Okay. So he sends them back. He says, threaten to kill him. And they go and they threaten the same answer. He says, this man I have to meet. So he goes and he meets this great sadhu, holy man. And he says, don't you know that I can take my sword and cut your head off? And your head will roll on the ground. And I will watch it. And the sadhu says, sir, you will cut my head. You will watch it roll. And I too will watch my head roll on the ground. Because he knew he's not human. You can do what you want to me, but you cannot manipulate me. So when you realize that all the manipulation is out of fear that you have, you're freed. And the fear is enforced by boundaries and protecting the mountain and so on. Okay? All right. So that's cool so far, right? Okay. So here's another exercise. You observe yourself attacking. Anytime you are angry, you have to see, am I angry at this person for what they did, or am I expressing anger because something else is hurting me? I feel attacked. And this I taught to my employees, because in retail you get a lot of angry customers. I said, just remember one thing. When someone is angry at you, do you know what happened this morning to them? Is her husband cheating? Is his wife cheating? Did the doctor say he has cancer? Did he lose his job? Did he have a car accident? He has no insurance. What happened to that person? You don't know. But if those things happen to you, wouldn't you just be so angry you'd yell at anyone? Yes. So observe yourself anytime you're angry and notice, are you really giving the appropriate anger to that person? Would you mind, please? Thank you. Are you giving the appropriate anger to that person, or are you venting some pain about something else? What is it? No? Okay, all right, let her talk to him. Are you venting some pain about something else? The more you see what you do, the more you see how you are picking up the knife and all of that, that is how you deal with the subconscious. Because you're saying, how do I get the subconscious to understand? By establishing observation of facts. This is what I do. This is what a human does. Therefore, other people are doing the same. They're venting at me through their own fears, pains, and suffering. Okay? So the more you observe yourself getting angry and attacking, the more you'll understand what's behind other people's anger and attack. And that's, again, how you break away your boundaries and fears and so on. All right? So that's a very important exercise to give you freedom. Just quickly, remember that whenever you feel fear, conflict, anger, insecure, they don't mean to attack you personally. They're in pain, and you're misinterpreting it to be an attack to you rather than them just venting their pain. All right? Let me just see how much, because it's 1:30. Oop, we got to here. Okay, so let's stop now. I guess you must be hungry. Well, okay, 2 more things. All right, this is quick. Create something of beauty every day. So whatever it is, why? We need to feel productive. We need to feel valuable, useful. Now, what I do is I make people smile. The guards, the server in the restaurant. And now when you go to lunch, try to do that. Actually, that's conveniently timed. Okay, make them smile, laugh, and see how you feel, especially ones that are serious and grumpy. Now, it doesn't work with everybody. Some are too serious. But make people smile. Create smiles. It's something of beauty. Make art, music. You need to be productive. This is, again, the subconscious. Low self-esteem comes from feeling useless. I am not productive in this world. I have no real value. I'm not doing something creative, beautiful. So if you live your life where you're not creating something that you feel is productive, your self-esteem degrades every day. But when you create something of beauty every day, art, music, a garden, whatever it is, or make people smile, change the direction of their day. Because usually, you know, servers, security guards, and so on don't get treated very well. When you do that, you will start to feel, I have been useful today. That helps build up your self-esteem. So that's a very important exercise. And another one is every month, make one new habit and break one existing habit. So that you, in 1 year, you've got 12 new habits, 12 broken habits. This is getting you back to exciting the curiosity and turning the stone-formed personality into more softer, flexible, malleable. Because as you get older, you know, old people, they're fixed in their habits. So we don't want to become old. We don't want to be like our parents. So you create a new habit every day and you break an existing habit, every month, so that you're not fixed. Now, as a couple, you want to be a happy marriage forever. Every year, you take at least 2 months living in another country, together, not separate. Why? You're breaking the habit of this is our life. You spend at least 2 months a year in another country or traveling so that your life changes. It's not that routine for that long. You spend 3 months planning, 2 months doing, 3 months talking about what you did. And that gets you to start the next 3 months planning. It's the habit of our daily routine which makes us lose interest in our life and therefore our relationship. Okay? And things like when I brush my teeth, I stand on my toes, I feel the brush, I count from in my head 1, 2, 3, 1 to 10 repeatedly, very slowly, and I tap my finger very quickly. So that changes the habit of how I brush my teeth while still brushing my teeth. It took 0 time out of my life, yet I am doing something that is significantly breaking the fixed patterns or fixed habits, which are a fixed habit of interpreting what a word means. Interpreting that when I say fuck, it's a dirty word. It's a wrong word. So you have that emotional reaction. You see? So any small habits you break or make are very good for altering, for breaking boundaries and opening your mind. Okay? So that's an important one. And then we finish with one lovely story. This is a true story, and then we go for lunch. Okay? I was in India, and before computers. I was in a small town, and I went that day to book a ticket for tomorrow, so I'd have a reserved seat. I'd know where I'm going. Everything is good. So I go, and the man there, I said, hello, hi, I want to book a ticket to Bombay. No, sir, you don't need book ticket. You come tomorrow, many train. Many seat. Oh, but I'd feel better if I had a reserved seat. Please, no need, sir. You come tomorrow. Every day there will be a train, many seat. No problem, you come tomorrow. Goes back and forth, and there's no way I'm getting my booking, right? So, okay, what can I do? The next day, I come back, checked out of the hotel, booked the next hotel, got my bag. Same guy. Hi, oh, hello. Can I have a ticket? No, sir, no train. Excuse me? Yesterday you said there'd be a train. Yes, I told you there would be a train today, but on Tuesday there is never a train. You come tomorrow. Tomorrow there is train. But I have to go. Everything is prepared for my trip. I need to go. I need a ticket. No, sir, no train today. Sorry, nothing to do. You come tomorrow. Anyway, so I'm getting really angry at this point. And I said, why? Why did you tell me there would be a train if you knew there would not be a train? I did not want to get you upset. No forward thinking. Now, how many times does your kid do something that upsets you, but their intentions were good? How many people do things that upset you, but their intentions were good? Bill Murray told a joke. He thought he'd make people laugh. And with that one joke, he shut down a multi-million-dollar project. His intentions were good, but the results were a disaster because of how someone interpreted it. So how many times do you interpret something and create an argument, bad feelings, but maybe their intentions were good, right?